Hi guys, today I'll be going over my silver bullet model and I'll be covering everything from my system, my thinking process, and as well as my execution. The reason why I'm going over it today is so every time we do a live trading session with the ICT Dojo VIP, you already know what's going on. Now step one will be discovering our bias. And the way we're going to do this is actually looking at our resting liquidity. So first of all, something I notice is we have buy side already taken, and immediately as these are taken, I'm going to look at what's the other side looking at. So we have this low, this low, this low, this low, and we're also above midnight price. So I'm looking at, okay, is it possible that we're going to have a bearish expansion day? You know, we're above midnight price. Price is likely to come below that midnight price if we're looking at a bearish day, right? Now, secondly, we're going to be looking at delivery. So something that I immediately see that pops up in my mind when I'm looking at this chart is I see this large fair value gap, and I'm just going to keep an eye on it. It's actually inverted right here because our body candles come below it. So it might be used as resistance in the future. So just something to note. Now I'm going to hop on the lower time frame. Right, so 9:30, I'm going to speed this up right here. Okay, so we have this fair value, inversion fair value gap. I'm looking at this 15-minute. And mind you, I'm not taking a trade yet because we're waiting for closer to around this macro. So this is the open. It ran up through our high right here. So just a small retracement. And I see a lot of people like immediately change their bias when they see candles going against what they initially thought. And the truth is, you have to change your mindset to where you could look beyond what's just happening on the lower time frame, and you have to look what's going around it, right? So as I mentioned, we have this IFVG, we have stacked lows, and what are the chances price is going to run up higher before we go lower, you know? So just something to mention. So once we've seen us trade back up into internal range liquidity, right, we're going to head back out to external. So from internal to external, right? And so now we're just waiting for a market structure shift. So we see that looking on the lower time frame. This is the 1 minute. All right, so I'd say that was a pretty good market structure shift. Something we could look at is this IFVG. And then back on the 5 minute. So we see this fair value gap. This is the only thing that's going to hold price higher. So once this becomes inverted, we're most likely just going to run lower, right? This low becomes invalidated once this becomes inverted. And just because of our bias, we're going to expect it to just continue lower, right? So back on the 1 minute. Okay, so we create a pretty good fair value gap right there with the market structure shift. And we're going to be targeting our lows, our final targets down here. So right, so that was the trade I took. I did get out slightly early because ES took out all of its sell side pretty much, but yeah, it was still a really good trade. So just going back over what we talked about. So we had our resting liquidity, which was our bias. We had trade back up into internal range liquidity. So we're looking for bearish delivery when we see that. So right here on the 15-minute, we're respecting the 15-minute gap. We created this inversion fair value gap, and we also traded above this AM high. And then finally, we had our market structure shift, which comes in two different forms. So we could either see a heavy displacement below a low, or we could see an inversion fair value gap being formed, which those are both forms of market structure shift. So right here, we had our 5-minute inversion. And then our final step is just finding our execution, which is honestly like the easiest part because we already have all the pieces together. So now we're just looking at, okay, can I find a fair value gap to enter on, or can I find an inversion fair value gap to enter on? And so both were given right here. You have this inversion fair value gap, or you have this normal fair value gap, SIBI. So I know it wasn't the most highest energy video. However, we will have more exciting videos, more exciting streams. We can make it fun, whatever else. And I only went over like 1/10 of what you're gonna learn, and I do like to keep it simple. But you know, we have so much more to bias, narrative, to our entries, to just market structure in general, and how the market moves. And you're going to discover how to swing trade, how to scalp, and how to day trade. And I'm just excited to show you guys what else there is to learn. It was just simple today, just so it's not confusing when I send out a trade idea or whatever else, you know.